Good morning. All right. Let's see. All right, good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are all doing well. So, here we are, Friday. End of the week. Can't believe it. It's been a fast week. It's gone by quick. So, leading gapper, Wimi. W-I-M-I. Not really familiar with this stock. Float 6 million shares. It's kind of squeezing up here a little bit. I'd say it's one to wait for a pullback on. It's a little extended where it is now. Looks like all-time highs are at 6. I wonder if this is one that did a stock symbol change. It is easy to borrow at light speed. So you may see some shorting on these kind of upticks. Doesn't have short sale restriction. Does anyone know if this was a stock that did a symbol change? It was RETO. The current high is 70. Yeah, TD Ameritrade might be hard to find borrows on these types of stocks. Float, let's see. I actually show the float on my other data feed at 59 million shares. So I'm going to guess that Trade Ideas is wrong on the 6 million share float. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have potential. Still a somewhat recent IPO. It might be one that I would kind of let see if it does a red to green move or something like that. This right now technically is a 1 minute pullback with a high of, what is that, 870. So Bino says he's trying to place an order, but credit card got denied. Okay, well, if you email or reach out to our support team, they can help you with that. So there's a squeeze a little higher, 74, 75. So the current high there, 75. Over 75 could be a trade. We'll just kind of watch this for a second. It's got blue sky, yeah, no upside resistance. So I'm going to put an order at $9. I'm going to go long here for the break of 9. Looks like it's kind of ripping higher. So I'm just going to try to ride this momentum a little bit, put a new order at 9.10. Over 9.10 could be another trade. There we go. Let's just watch this for a second. So it tapped 9.15. So I'm going to put my order at 9.15. If it holds 9, I'm buying right here. Trying to catch this bounce off of 9. It's holding $9 support. There's a 10,000 share buyer there. So now I want to ride this momentum up to 9.25. So watch over 9.18. Now it's starting to open up a little bit more. So we'll see if this squeezes a bit higher. stopped out at 9 for right now. I'll let it dip down and let it form the next 1 minute pullback. So $1,800 there, 12,000 shares. We've got 10 million shares of volume. It's got some good volume, that's for sure. 10-second chart showing this micro pullback. So it did a double top right up here at 15. So according to SEC filings, this has a float of 20 million shares. So that's not too bad. So it dropped below 9 and then came back up above it. I'm taking a starter back in at 9.05 because of that 10,000 share buyer, and the high is 9.25. So 9.25 would be my next add spot for a squeeze up towards 9.50. So still holding full size, looking for the break of 9.25 to add. A little bit of consolidation here. So although I could have sold and taken profit, I'd rather hold for the bigger move and then add as it squeezes a bit higher. So nice pop there up to 25. So I put my new order at 9.30. Give it a little offset. First 1 minute candle to make a new high is going to be over 22. Sold again, break even there at 9. So a break even trade. I could have taken profit on it. I was holding for a bigger move. But one of the things that's important, at least in my opinion, is at least setting the stop at break even. So if you get stopped out break even, well, it's a bummer you didn't lock up profit, but actually I lost $200 on that trade. So I'm up $1,600 on the stock now. So we'll let it pull back. High is now 9.25. So hey, you know, a little bit of profit. It's a good start. So we've got 22 minutes to the bell. Thank you guys who are tuning in. Wimi is our leading gapper, up 133%, and it's got blue sky. It's got no upside resistance. From $6, it's got nothing. So that's good. You've got a headline here about the 5G stuff. So, you know, I think that that's interesting, but more than the fundamentals of the headline, I'm looking at the technicals. I think that it could have some more potential in it, but it is now pulling back a little bit off the high of 9.25. So captured a little profit. I thought it might squeeze up a little bit more than it did, but you know, I'll take what I've gotten and look for maybe the next trade. It is easy to borrow at light speed, so I guess I could have flipped short on that, but first 1 minute candle to make a new high would be 94, but now we've got 4 green candles in a row. So I'm gonna let it pull back for a little bit. Maybe we'll see if there's something a little closer to the bell on a 5-minute setup that is more trustworthy. All right, so second leading gapper, well, that's actually only 30 shares of volume, so we'll skip that. PSV is a little on the cheaper side. I do like to watch these ones because sometimes, even though they are a little on the cheaper side, if they break through $1, you know, then we can get that squeeze through $1. Sometimes multiple halts in a row, and sometimes you get a move from up to like $1. I don't know, 20, 30, 40, which is a nice 20, 30, 40% move on a cheap stock. But I'm not that interested in PSV as it is right now. RETO, right? Okay, so this is another stock that's gapping up a bit. High was 224. Interesting. So we've got a catalyst there. All-time highs on this stock are looks like $8 or $9, $12. Not sure. NASDAQ test stock. It's test stock. MATX is a little expensive, and the float's a little higher. WAFU, we've traded this one before. The last time it had this huge move from 8 all the way to 16 or 15, pulling back now. It popped up a little bit. Looked like after hours. I don't see news on it. Let me just check my other headline here. Oh, this is just my this is my cactus. This is my cactus sweater. It brings good luck, and I'm already up $1,600, so it seems to be working well today. Let's see, so WAFU. No, I don't see a headline on WAFU. You can make the candlesticks bigger if you want on Lightspeed. It's just you size it as you'd like. So Wimi now has pulled back to 68. It's sort of a double bottom here. I'm watching here, the low is 66. So I did get a partial fill there, but it's the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. It's not a setup you really want to chase. High is 89 at that 1 minute candle. So I'm gonna see if this breaks over 89, maybe for an add. All right, adding at 86. I want to see if this retests $9. High is 90. I didn't see 914, but taking a little profit at 92. We've got a partial fill. We'll see if the rest executes. Yeah, Jacks is a reverse split. We can look at that in a second. So I would say now on Wimi, I would set my stop at break even. Of course, live stop orders don't work pre-market. The low of this pullback down here was 66. Watching. I might do another. I'm going to add at 68. I just added there at 68 for a bounce off this flat bottom. So what I'm looking at is the fact that this is holding support there in the 60s. So it didn't really change my cost basis because I was already in around that level. I just added back what I had taken profit in the 90s. So trading within this range, taking profit off the table, adding back. I'll look at WAFU again in a second. So I sold the rest there at 70 for now for a small loss. It looks like it's coming down a little bit more than I was wanting. That's okay though. Back to WAFU. Yeah, I don't know. This is a... I see that it's certainly on the gap scan. Does anyone else see a catalyst? Watching China-based educational stocks following headline of Beijing closing all schools. WAFU, TEDU. Okay, so it's a catalyst more tied to a larger headline. The high there is 60. I'll take well, let's just see what this does. I was going to say 60, but the high is 80. Maybe I'll put a new order at $7. Yesterday's high was 740. The volume on it is still pretty light. So what's the high of this candle? 86.90. So I've got an order at 7. I'll move my order to 750. This is going to climb pretty quickly up to the top of the gap scanner. Yesterday's high was 740. So if it can break that level, then, you know, I like the idea for, look at this. This is the thing. This is now up $1 a share. So I'm going to watch for a pullback. Orders at 8. Watching for the break of 8. Let's see the high right now. So this is a micro pullback. Adding there for the break of 8. So I'm going to try to ride this up to 850 because now we're seeing a little bit of momentum picking up here. There's 812. 500,000 shares of volume on it now, so volume has picked up a bit. It's up 63%. We've got the China catalyst. Are we going to get 850? There's 37. $10,000 share seller. Taking a little profit off the table, and I'm going to watch to do a dip. I'm going to see if it holds $8. So I want to let it dip down for a second and get actually a nice micro pullback. Jack, again, it's not actually gapping up that high because it's a reverse split. So WAFU, will it hold $8? Moment of truth here. Selling, watching. I'm back in at 8. Just added at 808, buying that dip. I saw some selling going through, and then I add on the dip, and the high is 844, so over 840, 850 is an add. So watch up here for the break of 839, 840. Watching. So this is right now 1 minute pullback underneath 850. So 844, 835 to 844 would be the spot where I'd look to add, and then try to ride the momentum up towards 9. Watching. Some green orders going through there. Here we go. Adding right there for the break through the $0.50. So there's 47. I got my fill at 35.
Oh my God.
So will it break 850? Really should have broken the $0.50 there, but I'll give it a second on this first pullback to see if it can come back up and break through that level. Sold the rest of it at 820. I'm going to put an order to buy a dip on this. I'm going to watch maybe off of the VWAP, which is 761. WAFU is one that I've traded in the past. I've had some good trades on it, but I've also had some bad trades on it. So it's now it's up to 56%. So still watching Wimi, but also watching WAFU here. So 62 is the VWAP. So I'm doing a combination of pressing Shift 1 to buy. It's got 1.2 million shares of volume, so it's not no volume. It's not as much as Wimi, but it's not no volume. And it's high relative volume. What was the volume on it yesterday? 1.3. It's already tied that, and it's 920. So that's high relative volume, which is what we look for. The increase in relative volume is typically a result of a catalyst, and in this case, it's a sector-wide catalyst on China's school closings. High is 52. So we still have 10 minutes to the bell. We can see whether or not this holds this level coming into the open. It kind of, it did break down there, down to 82, so that showed a little bit of weakness. Wimi, the VWAP is still a spot I would watch. So, of course, Lightspeed and a lot of brokers will let you trade pre-market. So I can use my hotkeys and trade pre-market just the same as I can during regular hours. The only thing that doesn't work are stop orders. So I have to manually press the sell button if I want to stop out. Or in other words, bail out. That's the only thing that doesn't work. Everything else works the same. So the low of this last pullback down here was 82. So let's see what it does on this, because now it's pulling back down, right? So is it going to hold support in the 80s? So there's some sell orders going through there at 90. And market orders don't go through. You're right. You have to use limit orders, but I don't use market orders in general, so that's fine. I want to see if this is going to break 790. So I have a starter there at 85. I'm trying to buy the bounce off the VWAP. And I'm going to put my order at the high here of 22 to add. So watching over 822. The VWAP is right down here in 868. So this is pretty close to a bounce off the VWAP. The first 1 minute candle to make a new high will be back over 805. Order at 822 to add. Hands on the button. I haven't added yet. I'm waiting for 820. This is on WAFU. Watching here. I'm adding there. So I'm seeing volume coming in, so I'm wanting to go ahead and add. And what I'd really like to see is a squeeze up to 45. So I'm going to keep my hand on the buy button to add at 40. Adding right there at 44. I'm looking for this to squeeze up through that $0.50. And then my back of mind target, short sellers get squeezed out. We see a squeeze up to 875. So watch this over 850. Got 38 on the ask. There's 40, 45. I want to see 47, 48. We want to see this squeeze through 850 and then up to 875. So on this dip right here, I'm going to look to add and then catch the break over 850. So watching right here, adding at 37. So what I'm doing is I'm buying this dip. So on the next pop and the retest of 850, I can catch the trade through that $0.50. So we've got 38 on the ask, 39, there's 40, there's 41, there's 43, there's 44. I want to see 45, 50. My cost basis is 809, and I'm holding 4,400 shares right now. So this is a 1 minute pullback underneath 47, the $0.50. Really wish it had broken that level, but now the first 5-minute candle to make a new high is 47. Let's see what it does at 8, if it holds 8 support. Because at least now it's stair-stepping up on that last 1-minute candle that squeezed up to 47. Watching down here for a bounce off 8. As long as it holds $8 support. I sold the rest at 13. I'm going to switch here for a second to Wimi, because this is going to give us the first 5-minute candle to make a new high over 840. So I've got a starter on Wimi at 34 for the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. And I'd like to see a break of 850. So I'm going to put an order at $8.50. So I can add at 46.47 and then ride that momentum back up towards 875.9. This is a nice kind of switch gears back to Wimi while Wafu is pulling back a little bit. So the high of that candle was 48. So we're looking for the break over 850 and then a squeeze up to 860, 870. Watching Wimi. Looking to add over 45. Adding there 44 for the break of 45, 46. A little choppy. 39 on the ask, 34 on the bid. I sold at 40 and 35 for a small profit. Actually, that was probably a loss. Well, it's okay. It was because I added at 45. I was looking for the breakthrough 850. So Wimi already this morning has been a little on the choppy side. A couple break-even trades on it, a couple small losses. Wafu, a little bit of a sharper pullback there, and it broke the VWAP. The low is 42. So we'll see if this pops back up now that it's holding the $0.50. There's 74, 66, not bad. So, gosh, oh my goodness, we've only got 30 seconds to the bell. So we're trading kind of here right into the open. I didn't even realize how close we were to the bell. Of course, we're in a market where we've seen some really good action. So let me put up my disclaimer here as a reminder. Do your pre-trading checklist. Eat well, sleep well. Do you have a couple stocks on watch that you like? If you do, what's the condition of the overall market? And remember, don't blindly follow me or anyone else. You need to understand the strategy. If you're just blindly following, you're going to lose money. It's just not a way, it's not a recipe or a path to success. So I'm going to put an order on Wafu. So I bought Wafu there at 88. I'm looking for this to break over $8. And I might do a dip trade on it as well. So I'm going to let it pull back for a second. Seems a little sluggish here. So I stopped out of Wafu for now. And I'm going to look to do a dip trade off of maybe 7. And you can see also that Wimi is pulling back a little bit. Starter at 32. Looking to add over 50. Adding there at 50. Now I'm going to give it a chance to have its second return back up towards the high. Sold almost all small position I'm still holding. Next pullback, double bottom would be 23. So I'm going to give it a chance to pull back again. Nice move on SPAQ, acquisition company. It's a little higher priced. High is 18. Those ones can be a little risky. So Wafu, Wimi has a high of day of 820. Wafu has a little pullback here. Wafu is underneath the volume weighted average price. So now that the bell has rung, it's kind of a little, Wafu, the high a day is 95. So I'd put an order at $8. So I'll take a starter of Wafu here at 80. It looks like it's curling up, like it wants to break through $8. So adding there. Now I want to see it break through 8 and then up to 825. Watch. 810 is an add. Watching here. Halt level's 40. High is 32. I'm going to let it pull back for a second, and I'm adding right there into a halt at 40. Halt level is 40 on Wafu. Holding 3,100 shares. I'm very cautious to see whether it halts or does the halt level moves up. Okay, so it did halt. So I'm holding 3,100 shares of Wafu here. Not a huge position, but that's okay. Okay, so we're sitting here on Wafu. Halt was 40. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put an order on this. I kind of want to buy a dip. I mean, I really want to buy a dip. Like, I really, really want to buy a dip. I just don't know if I'll get a dip. So I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to increase my max share size to 40,000 shares. So if I want to be aggressive, I can be aggressive. I am going to put an order on this maybe around 8:10, 8:15. I'm going to let it dip down. And then off a dip, scale in. As it squeezes up, add into the breakout. So if I can get myself to 25, 30,000 shares, maybe 35,000, into the breakout, then I could take profit as it squeezes up towards 925, 950. We'll see what it does. I don't know if I'll have the opportunity to get a full-size position on this. I'm not sure if it's going to pull back. It might just rip, but let's see what it can do. I'm currently up $20,593, but I'm also holding 3,100 shares of Wafu at $8.25. So $8.25, I'm up 15, 16 cents. I wish I'd taken a little bit more size as it squeezed up here, but that's okay. So the levels on the daily chart, it's got to break over 870. And then we have no resistance on the daily chart until 1539. However, we have to be mindful that the headline on this is not specific to this company, in that this is a education company, it's a Chinese company, and the headline is that Chinese, I guess schools are closed. That's what was posted pre-market. So I guess that's creating some momentum in some of the different Chinese names. Resumption on this, if it's a 5-minute long halt, will be in about 1 minute. And if anyone has the link to the article on Chinese school closings, you could post it. That would be helpful. Okay. So Cactus has been helping today. So this is actually one of the first days where we've had a gapper and it's continued to be pretty strong. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to put an order at 850, but I'm going to give it a second on resumption. So I'm still holding and I haven't added yet. I want to let it pull back. Starter, I just added there at 50, and now I'm going to add over $9. Adding at 9, I've got 26,000 shares. The halt level's 925. Over 910 is an add. Adding at 908, looking for this to squeeze a little higher. I've got 28,000 shares. Looking for 925, that halt level. Is it going to halt a second time? It's pulling back. I'm adding on the dip at 72. I just added on the dip at 72. Now I want to catch the pop back up over 910. There's 905, 908. It's got to break 910, then 915. Still holding. Dips are good for me. I can add on dips. Halt level has moved up a little bit. Watch over 925. There's 9. There's 910. Holding still. High of this candle is 924. Moving my order up to 925. Watching. This is a 1 minute micro pullback under the highs. Off of 850, I can also add. Watching. So watching the level 2 here. I'm going to look for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone. I see it on the scans. So again, we finally have a stock that's at the highs. Right now, I feel like the wind is sort of at our back. I'm going to let it consolidate for a second, but I'm looking for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high and then a squeeze up to 925. Dip trades down here, I'm adding at 63. I'm trying to add on the dips to catch the pops back up to 9. And then that first 1 minute candle to make a new high, I can add again. Watching over 9. Holding. Looking for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high right here. There's 9. Now looking for 9.10, 9.15. Orders at 9.25, still ready to go. Watching. 9.15. The boing is the sound of my scanners. We got first 1 minute candle to make a new high. The high there was 10. I did take some profit into that move, and I'm going to add if it breaks over 10. Or for a bounce off of 850. So now we're trading in range a little bit, but this is still holding up certainly above the VWAP, so I'm okay with that. Adding at 60. So buying that dip down there at 60. Bounces off the 9 moving average. We've got 7 million shares of volume. So, and I take a little profit off it, 78 or 80 or whatever that was. So I trade around a core position. I hold a piece, and I've been holding a piece now for a long time, but I'll add on dips, and then